Sorry for the optimism, guys. This team sucks. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Buster and the Giants. I'm your host, Jonah Johnson, a freelance video producer and editor, and a die-hard San Francisco Giants fan. In today's video, we'll be recapping the Diamondbacks and Rockies series, looking into our player of the week, as well as talking about something that the Giants offense is very much lacking. Real quick, let's just talk about what happened 2 weeks ago in Giants baseball. They got swept by the Snakes in Arizona, and then they went 2-1 against the White Sox at home. Now, let's get into the Diamondbacks series. In Game 1, down 1-0 going into the bottom of the fourth, Rafael Devers came up clutch and hit a missile out into Triple's alley, scoring runners from second and third. The Diamondbacks would score 5 more runs in the 5th and 6th innings and ultimately went on to win the game 6-2. In Game 2, Schmidt came up and clobbered a ball to left center field, giving the Giants an early 1-0 lead. He also came up in the bottom of the third, hitting an RBI single. In the bottom of the 7th, Eric Koss hit a solo shot out to right center field. Rafael Devers came up in the bottom of the 8th and hit an RBI double. Adames hit a solo shot to center field in the bottom of the 9th. Unfortunately, by this point, the Diamondbacks already had a hold of the lead, and the Giants would go on to lose the game 7-5. In Game 3, in the bottom of the 3rd, Arias came up clutch and hit a 2 RBI knock to center field. The Diamondbacks scored twice in the 6th and once more in the 7th. The Giants couldn't score a single more run and would go on to lose the game 3-2. Overall in this series, the Giants were 4 for 21 with runners in scoring position. Now, let's get into the Rockies series. So, in Game 1, the Giants had a 4-1 lead through the top of the 8th from 3 sac flies and a single. They gave up a 2-run home run to Ezequiel Tovar in the bottom of the 8th inning. Then, the Giants scored twice in the top of the 9th to take a 6-3 lead. In the bottom of the 9th inning, after a dribbler up the first base line, a single, and a flyout, Hunter Goodman would come up to bat and hit a 3-run home run to tie the game at 6. Then, Ezequiel Tovar came back up to bat and hit a 2-run home run, which would win the game for the Rockies, and they would win 8-6. Wow! In Game 2, the Rockies put up 8 runs in the first 7 innings of the game, while the Giants put up 0 runs. They'd score 3 more runs from a Drew Gilbert home run and a Chapman RBI single. However, that wouldn't be enough, and the Giants would go on to lose 8-3. Now, let's get into Game 3. This game made 0 sense. Bryce Eldridge had 2 very loud doubles and a solo shot out to center field. Willy Adames hit a grand slam after the batter before him was intentionally walked so they could face Willy Adames. He also did this in a 3-2 count. The rookie Jonah Cox got his first taste of big league action in his hometown of Denver. Shout out Jonah. And ultimately, the Giants went on to win 19-6. Overall, this past week, the Giants racked up 72 hits and scored 37 runs. And they sit at a record of 23-36. Now, let's get into this week's player of the week. Although he wasn't on the roster for the Diamondbacks series, it has to go to Jung-Hoo Lee. He came off the injured list to start the Rockies series after no rehab appearances. In the Rockies series alone, he was 11 for 15 with 4 runs scored and 2 RBIs. He also made 2 great catches in right field. Before we go over what's to come in the rest of the road trip, there's one more thing I want to talk about, and it's the Giants' lack of stolen bases. According to Baseball Savant, the Giants' top 5 fastest guys have a sprint speed of around 27.5, which is how much feet that they are covering per second. Now, I decided to look into some players across the league who have similar metrics of sprint speed to that of the Giants, and how many stolen bases those players have. James Wood of the Washington Nationals has a sprint speed of 27.6 and has 10 stolen bases on the year. Cody Bellinger of the New York Yankees also has a sprint speed metric of 27.6 and has 5 stolen bases on the year. Andres Jimenez of the Toronto Blue Jays also has a sprint speed metric of 27.6 and has 6 stolen bases on the year. Now, let's look into the Giants. Their stolen base leader, Luis Arias, who is actually one of the slower guys on the team according to sprint speed, has 5 stolen bases on the year. Our next guy, Casey Schmidt, who has a sprint speed of 28.2, also has 5 stolen bases on the year. You want to take a wild guess who on the team has the 3rd most stolen bases for the Giants? Did you guess Patrick Bailey? I bet you didn't. Yes, Patrick Bailey has the 3rd most stolen bases on the Giants this year, with 2 stolen bases. Look, it's hard to steal bases when your team isn't getting on base. and it's hard to get on base when your team isn't working walks, which the Giants are the last team in MLB in walks. I thought the Giants were going to steal a lot more bases than they did. I didn't think that they would lead the league in stolen bases, but I thought there would be a lot more than where they are in dead last. For what it's worth, Jung-Hoo Lee tried to steal a base about 3 times in the same at-bat in Friday's loss to the Rockies. I'm not asking the Giants to go all willy-nilly and steal a bunch of bases and get thrown out. That's not the right move. But if we could just sprinkle a little bit in there, just a little bit. Now, let's look into the Milwaukee Brewers and Chicago Cubs series coming up. For Game 1 in Milwaukee, it'll be Landon Roop versus Shaden Drohan. In Game 2, it'll be Trevor McDonald versus Kyle Harrison. In Game 3, it'll be Logan Webb. And in Game 4, it'll be Adrian Hauser. It's unclear who will be pitching for the Milwaukee Brewers in Game 3 and Game 4. During the time of recording, we do not know who will be pitching for the Giants or the Cubs during the weekend series, but at least we know Tyler Mahle will not be pitching for the Giants. This Giants season is falling apart real quick. One way to look at it though, around this time last year, the Giants traded for Rafael Devers and were first in the division, and then they didn't make the playoffs. So maybe this year is reverse of last year. Maybe we're starting off bad and we'll come together through the second half and be a playoff team. I doubt it, but we'll see. What do you think of the Giants so far this season? Any changes you'd like to see them make? Let me know down in the comments. Thank you for watching today's video. If you haven't already, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It's very much appreciated. Be fair, be kind, and as always, go Giants. I'll see you next week.